Hey, welcome guys to the Road to MOA show. I'm Tim and I'm here this week with Trouffman in Taipei. This is actually quite awesome. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and you?
Very, very well. So this is the sixth episode of the Road to MOA show, and actually it is the season finale of the show, right?
Yeah, that's the last episode we're gonna do before the worldwide final next weekend.
Yeah, so the worldwide final is the finals of a whole series of qualifiers that took place over the last 3 months. And well, actually, even more, almost four
It's a bit
months,
more
right?
than
If you
4 months,
announce,
yeah.
all the
With the
announcements and
announcement and so on.
qualifiers and everything. So yeah, so MOA was something pretty big for us, and those shows, the last six episodes, we had a lot of five episodes. We had a lot of fun actually making those episodes and telling you guys what's going on with MOA, what are the latest details. And today we are back with this special show because actually some stuff changed. There has been some minor adjustments made to the rules, and since last time, so we thought it might be actually a cool thing to just update you guys before the show of next week, right?
Yeah, and that's actually the last episode we can do with all the details from the final, like all the competitors, all the outcome of the competitions, and all the latest information we have on the venue and all the people coming.
So guys, stay tuned for the show. Make sure to ask us questions in the chat if you have some. We will be staying after the show because during the show it's a bit hard to actually read your questions, do the stuff, and answer at the same time. So we'll be staying half an hour more after the show to actually answer all your questions if you have any. It can be anything related to MSI, to the MOA, or even to just overclocking in general. So don't just feel free to throw in the questions, and if we don't reply right now, just throw it again later on, right? So. What is basically MOA before we just move on?
Okay, so before we move on, the MOA is the Master Overclocking Arena. That's a few years that MSI is doing this competition. That's actually the longest running competition in the world. The goal is to find the best overclockers on MSI hardware.
Yep.
And for that, there is a competition online, so it's like a game tournament. You qualify online, and then you get invited for the final, where everyone gather at the same place and everyone compete during the same amount of time on the same hardware. So that's actually quite interesting to see that.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And that's the biggest one. There's 18 overclockers invited from the qualifiers and the winner from last year. So that's 19 competitors.
19. Oh, that's pretty cool. So this year is it's the, I think it's the 8th edition of MOA already. Because it's running since 2008. And before we actually go into the details of MSI and the MOA, let's have a look at the trailer they actually published this year. So this trailer was published about at the beginning of when they introduced the event, and it's actually pretty cool. So let's have a look at it. Right, so this is coming soon, and it is actually coming next weekend. So on the 18 and 19, which will be actually on the 19 and 20 if you look at the US time, right? Because it's going to be 18, 19 here. And
no, it's 17, 18 if you're in the US.
I was getting confused in those time zones. Okay, yeah, 17, 18, so it will be on the Friday evening for you guys. And on the Saturday evening as well.
If you want to check all the time, we're gonna go through all the details in this episode of all the details of the MOA. But if you want to see all the details for, it's gonna be 3 a.m. for me, I just want to wake up on Saturday morning, can I still watch it? Yes, you can watch when you're gonna wake up if you're in Europe. Just go on overclocking-TV.com, and the latest news have all the. We're gonna publish all the details with the time and the schedule for that.
Okay, cool. So just as a quick reminder, MSI is a manufacturer of PC components. So those guys that are doing motherboards, graphic cards, all the pieces you need for building up your own rig.
Notebooks,
Yeah,
all-in-one computers,
they
they're
do pretty
doing
much
everything.
everything, right? So MSI is doing this competition for their motherboard and graphics card business. So it's mainly targeted at people that are overclocking already at a very high level since many years. Those guys are using LN2 on a very regular basis, and to qualify, actually, you need to be pretty good. So it's not like a small. It's not a competition open to like the masses of people that would just overclock on a regular basis just every day to get a few extra FPS. Those are
Well,
like people that actually do it almost for a job, right? Some of
yeah,
them.
it's almost the same when you play like StarCraft.
Yeah,
It's always open to compete, but
yeah.
if you want to compete against people that are doing that like a lot of time, like
Like
spend a lot of
professionals,
time,
right?
like almost professionally, you cannot. It's very difficult to go against them. It's not impossible. It's always open, but it's very impossible. Like the level of playing is very high.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be next weekend. It will be here in Taipei. And before we have a quick look at the venue, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few seconds. So in the previous show, we actually went to the venue to have a look at what it was like, and so the venue this year it's even more centered in Taipei than last year. So the location is very near the 101 tower. You know that famous. I think it's almost 600-meter high, right?
I don't know. I
Just
think
a
it's
bit
the third
under.
of
Yeah.
the fourth highest tower in the world.
It's called the Taipei 101, and it has 101 floors.
The 101 one is the outside observatory,
Yes,
but still.
exactly. So the actual location is very near that place, and it's actually pretty cool. So we went there and we had a walk around the room. So the images you can actually see are when nothing was yet set up, so there's no decoration yet on the wall. Everything will be completely tweaked to the MOA colors, and I'm pretty sure this whole room is going to be pretty cool. And it will be packed of overclockers competing there for 2 days. I can tell you guys, this room is going to be amazing. Everyone can follow the scores on the big screens, and of course we will be there to do a epic live stream. We actually have awesome guests lined up for this stream. So there will be Trouffman, which will be the main host for the stream.
The master host.
Well, master host, yes, sure. We will have. We also have a guest host, which is Dennis Garcia from Hardware Asylum.
From the US.
That's right, and we also have Tom Loske from PC Games Hardware. No, not PC. Yeah, PC Games
PC
Hardware.
Game Hardware from Germany.
From Germany, right? So those guys will be here for you guys to tell you about what's going on in the competition, follow the scores, explain exactly what the guys are doing at that place. We also prepared a few special things, new things for the stream to make it more interesting. So you guys should actually really check it out.
A few little things. I would say there's a few massive things going for this for this event, so check it out. The video you're gonna see right now behind us is when you get into the venue directly, so that's when you visit it for the first time.
Yeah, that's it. So basically walking up from the front door and passing the kind of lobby area where there will be actually that painting will be gone. It will be like an interview wall, so where we can do interviews with the actual competitors. And then this is the actual venue, so it will be completely dressed up with MOA colors. All the chairs will be, of course, removed. There will be tables all the way. A lot of cables everywhere. There actually MSI planned extra power, so it means you have to rent out the generator to make sure that the guys actually can pull enough amps from because you cannot get that kind of power from
the power break. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when everyone is using like almost like maybe 2 kilowatts at max, at peak of their system without counting heat guns or anything. I mean, like, yes, you have to prepare for that kind of stuff.
And don't forget, there's a lot of teams this time. There's like 19 teams competing.
Yeah, so it's 19 individual teams, so it's 19 overclockers in the end.
So let's say we can have 19,000 watts of power used.
That's right. So let's say if we switch back now to the actual structure of the MOA finals this year, it's going to be very similar to the setup we had last year with 1 day of classic battle, which is this called classic battle because it's actually how MOA started 6 years ago. I made a mistake earlier, but it's actually 7 years ago. 7 years ago. So the classic battle, the actual point of it is to go through 3 major benchmarks, and those benchmarks are all giving you points, depend of a percentual calculation. So we'll go over how that is calculated a little bit later on. And then you have the no limits battle, which is considered as a freestyle battle by most of the overclockers, basically, which means you can pick out of a list of 15 benchmarks, whichever you want. You have a selected list of hardware you can use for that, which is limited to actually just about previous gen, top gen of currently right now motherboards and hardware. The point here is to actually hit first scores on HWBot, so hardware first scores or global first scores, and each of those give you a point, and you can combine that and hopefully eventually win. So in total, there's in the 16,000 US dollar of cash available for this competition. Of course, it's going to be impossible for one person to win all the 16K because it's distributed among the top 3 or top 5. But it's going to be like the highest valuations for MOA competitions so far. So this is pretty interesting.
So that's the highest amount they're going to offer to people in cash since 7 years. This is
that's it. Every year, more or less, we have been seeing the amount growing up. But this year, from last year, it's actually a pretty big jump. So it's actually very interesting to see vendors this year in other competitions as well, putting more and more cash into those competitions, which actually gives a good way to show the support manufacturers giving to those competitions. Also, the value it actually overclocking is giving back to manufacturers, but also in terms of exposure to the community and all that kind of stuff.
The value back you're talking that is giving back to the overclocker is mainly like for years overclockers have been working with manufacturers. There's people working in a lot of different manufacturers now. That's their own job to do overclocking, not 24/7 but as a day job. There's overclockers paid to overclock the hardware, and that's how we end up today with like a motherboard and graphic cards, especially motherboard that have a lot of features that allow anyone to modify the systems. All that come from the feedback from the overclockers mainly. That would not be possible without, of course, the partners buying the idea of making better motherboard and so on.
That's correct.
There's a few like the OC Genie on the MSI mainboard that's directly targeted as beginners. Overclockers, you just push a button, it's overclocking your
easy OC feature kind of thing. Yeah, that's correct. So all those features build it up over the years, and now it's what is being used, right? So let's now talk about the rules and how the points are calculated for those 2 days. So classic battle, that will be on October 18, and so the 3 benchmarks are SuperPi 32M, Cinebench R15, and 3DMark Firestrike. So for those of you that are maybe not so familiar with this, SuperPi is basically a single core, a single thread CPU benchmark, which is basically calculating pi.
So it's calculating the pi number with the number after the commas. So it's actually quite interesting to see how
this benchmark is used since many years. I think since probably the start of competitive overclocking, or at least the start when there were like leaderboards of rankings across forums and things like that, right?
It was actually one of the oldest legacy. We call that legacy benchmark. That's actually one of the oldest one that are being used.
I think so as far as I remember, this and CPU-Z, right, basically for validating like frequencies. So there's then Cinebench R15. So we are still staying in the CPU area, but here we are going multi-thread. So as many threads as possible is of course recommended for achieving the highest score in this one. And then we have 3DMark Firestrike, which is a 3D benchmark, so graphics card.
So that's going to be a mix between CPU power and VGA power. That's mainly VGA power dependent, but
mainly VGA. So the way points are calculated for the classic battle is that there's a reference system that is built by MSI and that is running the benchmarks there at the venue or just before the event, and it gives a reference score of what the hardware can actually do at stock. So no overclocking, just building the parts, booting Windows, and running the benchmarks and getting the score.
So the baseline is basically what everyone will get as a score when you buy the computer in the shop.
Exactly right. That's the just raw performance, and then based on that, there's the percentual increase that the overclockers achieve through the overclocking is calculated, depending of the amount of points they get, and they get a ranking out of that in the actual benchmark ranking. So for the stage, for the OC stage, so there's those 3 stages, and then to actually make the overall ranking, so the total ranking for the classic battle, then each of those percentual gained scores are again recalculated into one ranking with a percentage weight.
Right? Okay, so each of the scores you get a percentage increase.
Yes, that's
and
right.
And all of these scores just weigh a certain amount in the total final calculation.
Exactly. So this adds up, and at the end of the day, there's prizes for the top 4 guys. So if we have a look, for example, at the prize distribution, I have here on my laptop. Oh yes, I can actually go. Actually, no, full screen is probably not the best way. I might just do like this, and zoom out, zoom in. Yes.
So the MSI MOA this year is actually a very exciting competition for us, because there's this classic battle that is the regular kind of competitions, and there's the no limit that's gonna be they will try to break world records or reach the highest score they can with the hardware.
That's right. So in terms of places, classic battle, you get 3K for the first place, 2K for the second place, 1.5K for the third place, and 1K for the fourth place. And every overclockers of go home with the actual gear of the competition, and plus extra prizes like see Cooler Master, power supply.
So it's interesting. There's like the top 4 and almost top 5 always get something in cash. On 18th, that's a lot of your chance to win something is actually quite high.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, like, well, it really depends how you get also lucky with the hardware draw of the venue, right? Because there's always this impact of hardware luck, kind of like silicon being better on one CPU to another. But in the end, yes, there's quite a good chance of winning something. And even if you don't win, you actually go home with a full high-end rig, which is always a very nice thing. Especially you got a free ticket to Taiwan, so you get a very quick trip to Asia, which is, I mean, like, it's very, very cool, right? So this is for the classic battle. On this side, not much actually changed since we had our last show. But for the No Limits battle here, a few things changed. If you remember right, last show we announced that both were kind of like a little bit tied together, and there has been some changes here. And this is why actually in last show we're asking how much money in total was available. And it was 15K the total.
So the answer of the last episode giveaway was 15K. Yes. That was the right answer.
But if we calculate now, we are actually at 16K because those No Limits battles got tweaked a little bit. So if we look at the No Limits battle, and the way it works is that overclockers have to compete on 15 benchmarks, and No Limits actually starts on the 18 in the late afternoon, and starts mid afternoon, like about 4 o'clock on the 19th.
So it's like there's a day and a half for people to do whatever they want with the hardware to try to reach the highest score as possible for them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna scroll up here, for example, and this is, for example, the equipment they have, the tweaking tools that come on their systems, and all the rules that the competitors already received at home. What they can do, they can of course not bring their own USB and install whatever software on the machine and all that kind of stuff. Those are the rules for the different benchmarks. And if we keep scrolling down, then we have actually like a specific hardware requirements for different requirements for the screenshots.
Regarding the rules, the overclocking competition has been running for quite some times now, so all the rules are quite let's say mature. So there's usually not much of the like a gray zone. There's always a gray zone, but it's getting smaller and smaller. And after that, it's easy for any overclockers to know exactly what they have to do. So nowadays, the competition, the classic battle usually have time. You have like from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. usually have time to run this benchmark. Then for 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. you have the time to run this benchmark.
This is how it is for classic battle, right? 2 hours for each benchmark. Here you have freestyle, so you actually have to manage your own time. And depending of the hardware you are bringing there and what you actually can expect from it. Of course, competitors are supposed to have tested it before they actually arrive here, right? But you need to manage your time. You don't have that much time available.
So the main difference between the classic battle and the freestyle is the classic, you are locked to a certain amount of time to do a certain benchmark. So Super Pi, you have 2 hours, like 10 p.m. to 12. And then Cinebench, you have 2 hours, like 12 to, I don't know, 2 p.m.
Yep.
And then 3D Mark, the 3D benchmark, you have like from 2 to 3 or 4.
Yeah. So if we look here, for example, the hardware limitations for what it's for the no limit battle, the overclockers have to bring basically graphics cards that are high end for the moment, and also like not completely high end. There's no 980 here, but there's like the previous high end cards pretty much, right? And then it goes all the way down to the 750, which is a pretty like mid-range kind of card, right?
That's funny to see the 750, because actually the 750 was used in the qualifier.
It was allowed for the Class B. Actually.
For the Class B, so. Yes. During the qualification process, they had like one Class A that was the top high-end hardware, and that the Class B that was more like easier to access, like a Pentium, a G3258, and a GTX 750. The 750 had some very strong scores.
It's actually an impressive card for I mean the level of the card you would expect as a mid-range card, and actually what it could do in terms of percentual gain, in terms of overclocking, and the scores people actually produce on them was really impressive. And this is exactly why MSI actually wanted this card to be in there, because like this they can also show what their top cards can do, but also what mid-range cards can do. The card like the people that would have a bit less budget to spend on the graphics card would probably have to look at.
And it's not because you're buying the highest top of the thing that's the only thing you can overclock. You can even overclock
like the mid-range, everything, right?
It's not the same margin you have, but you still can overclock even if you buy a mid-range system.
Yeah. So I said 15 benchmarks. So those are the 15 benchmarks that are actually allowed to use for this no limit battles. So nothing very surprising here. In the legacy we have all the Super Pi, Pi Fast, DreamHack 03, DreamHack 05. So all those are very old benchmarks.
So all the legacy benchmarks are the old school one. So Super Pi and Pi Fast are CPU dependent, while DreamHack 03, 05 are although CPU dependent now, but used to be a 3D benchmark, same as Aquamark. Yeah. So that's more like a CPU bound and some tweaking. Like tweaking is a lot of involved. So tweaking is making the system to go faster for it.
So then we have the 2D benchmark that are actually multi-threaded benchmarks. So we have a Joybot Prime, XTU, Cinebench. So exactly like we said before, 11.5, which is the previous revision, and R15. We also have W Prime, and then 3D. Then it gets actually a little bit more serious, and this is probably where people are going to spend quite some more time if they actually have good graphics card. They brought something very special. So there's DreamHack 5 Strike, same than in the classic battle. There's DreamHack 11 Performance, and DirectX, DreamHack Vantage, and also Godzilla 720p. So, like, I mean, the selection of benchmark is quite big, so people are gonna have to choose and target exactly, be prepared before what they want to run for and what they can achieve.
And as there's a lot of benchmark you can choose from, that would be interesting to see if someone, I know that these competitors have a better graphic card than me, so I'm not going to compete against this guy because it's going to be more difficult. I can choose another benchmark and get a first score there.
And the way it works in a live competition, in the difference to online, is that people have to submit the score once they have it. It's not you save it and you put it on your USB and you keep it for later. No, you have to save it and submit it straight away so people can actually see what has been submitted. So then you have to be able to adapt your strategy in terms of picking the hardware you want to bench, but also as well as the benchmarks and what you can achieve in it.
There's some strategy involved in that. Let's take a quick break and we come back right after for more information about the MSI MOA final.
Yep.
MSI Gaming. Graphics cards forged in the fire. Unmatched balance of all characteristics. The perfect combination of performance and value. Embarrassingly low noise. Complete control of the graphics card in a single click using the exclusive utility gaming app. MSI Gaming is a fiery dragon soul. MSI Gaming is the graphics card designed for true gamers and possesses unique technologies. Most MSI gaming graphics cards come pre-overclocked out of the factory. This simply means you get more performance out of your card without spending any time on checking for maximum clocks and stability. Pre-overclocked graphics cards simply give more performance, and you don't have to worry about damaging your card, as it is completely covered by our warranty.
Welcome back. You are watching the Road to MOA show season finale, and I'm still here in Taipei with Trouffman. And now that we have looked at the rules, let's have a look at the participants. And since we're talking about participants, I would like to say hi to the new guys that just joined us on the chat and on the stream. Thanks, guys, for following the show. This is just amazing.
So let's randomly welcome someone from the chat. It's the winner is Trouffman SHD, and I didn't choose the.
Yeah, you guys don't make it easy with the nicknames. Sorry if we actually broke it up. So talking about contestants, there has been qualifiers in different regions, and out of those regions, actually, as you can see on the screen right now, there were 4 qualified from America, 6 for EMEA, 5 from APAC, so that's the Asia region, and there's also 3 of them that came from the Class B. So in total, that's 18 overclockers, but it's actually more than 18, right?
There's actually one special ticket for the winner from last year. So if you won the MOA the previous year, you always get invited to the next one. You don't even have to compete to get qualified. Yeah. You get invited.
It's like a tradition, right? The tradition of
they always did that for the past few years. So it's actually something they keep pushing.
So there has been quite a intense battle in the qualifiers, and if we look at for example, the Class A in America, we had a very I would say living legends, or very close to living legends of overclocking, people that have been very involved in their own community, in their own country, and people that actually made a lot for overclocking. So, for example, in America, we have Arbuas, we have Mike CDM, Nacho Arroyo, and Gunsinger. So those guys, the guys that qualified for the MOA.
I think it's interesting to point out that Red Max on the 6th place.
Yes,
that's actually Dennis Garcia. That will be one of our guests for the show on next weekend.
I'll be co-hosting the show with you, so it's actually pretty cool here to the overclocking world is very small in terms of people that know each other, and especially at the top levels, like every sport. So it's actually very nice to have actually Red Max that experienced the qualifying process of MOA to be there as a host on the show, and being able to share his knowledge, share his experience of the competitions and all that stuff. So now let's move on to the Class A EMEA. So EMEA was also very intense. Actually, was probably the most intense qualifier. If we looked at the last minutes, or the last, let's say, 15 minutes of this qualifier, it was just epic. You had interviews with the guys, and it was just
that qualifier for the MOA this year on the EMEA was actually the craziest one. I never saw a qualifier for a competition that crazy. I was interviewing Vivi, Dr. Wiz, and Zizulio 2 or 3 days before the end, and they were all like, "Oh no, I have a world record. I can't. It's sure I'm gonna be first."
Everyone thought they had the best score, but
in the end, the thing changed. Like, Dizulio was like, "Sure, I have the best scores in this benchmark," and then turned out he was like the 3rd best scores. So that was actually quite crazy.
So here we have Vivi, which was already a participant to previous MOAs. We have Extreme Addict, who was here at MOA last year.
Actually, you won last year. He won some cash from the freestyle battle.
On the freestyle battle, Vivi actually won also some stuff.
Although,
we have Zizolio, which is kind of the new growing star, I would say, in Europe, in terms of, because he was here last year, he qualified in MOA through the Class B, and this year he's here qualifying through Class A. So I mean, this guy went from the more like simple, like more mainstream systems to the really high end within a year. We saw him also at the OC gathering at Computex and across several events. We have Perika Bari from that also, I think we saw him in other competitions last year. He was not in MOA, but this guy is someone that we've seen around, so it's someone that actually used to that kind of competition. We have Moose83, which is a German guy. Haven't seen him yet in a MOA competition so far, so it's going to be a a new person to participate to that kind of live competition. And we have also Wizardy, which is new of the new French top overclockers of the new generation.
New generation, I would say.
Yes.
He already won a competition last year.
Yes.
That's his first time in MOA at this level, so
It's
that's
gonna
gonna be
really
very interesting.
Yeah. So that was for EMEA, and then APAC. The things here you will see there's a little gray thing. We're gonna explain it. So we have Roddy, which is I would say the new surprise. It's the surprise of MOA. Like, we were not expecting to see someone that has been mentored by a top overclocker for the moment, and then now, like, this guy is qualifying through the Class A, so it's actually really cool.
So Rodeo is actually one of the Padawan from the Jagat Review guys.
Yep, that's right.
So it's a newcomer to the scene. It's actually to the worldwide scene. I mean, he's growing in Indonesia, but outside of Indonesia, it's like, oh, that's the first time we saw this guy. But these guys win a top high-end qualifier.
They qualify every year for MOA. Since
they always have someone from Indonesia.
Yep.
Even this year, that's why Royal Flush is in gray, because Royal Flush is although from Indonesia, but there's a rule
country, yes.
1 person per country.
Right. So then we have also Windforest from Korea, D4Duck from China. We have Bob and Zed from New Zealand, and Sniper Oz from Australia. So those guys. So that in the end, if we look at the participants through those Class A qualifiers, we have the block of the guys that are used to this kind. Those guys they are used to competing and getting qualified and actually being able to manage the stress during live competitions. And we have the new guys that haven't yet been promoted to the big battles, I would say.
To the worldwide battle.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting how things are going to play off here. And now if we look at the Class B, so Class B, that's the one for more mid-range hardware to be able to qualify. And here we have Dr. Wees from South Africa, and we have Stepanzi from the US, and we have B-Boy G's as well that is qualifying for this competition. B-Boy G's, I'm sure, yeah, we saw it in the MOA maybe 2 years ago, if I remember
Might
right.
be.
Yes.
Might be, yeah.
So guys that are used to compete, it's going to be very interesting to see. So if we have a look at the overall face wall of all those guys, MSI actually is running a contest on their Facebook page. So if you guys want to win some hardware by being lucky, or actually by just knowing what you're doing, just go on their Facebook page and check out this contest. And basically what you have to do is to pick one of the guys that you think is going to win MOA, and if he actually wins, then you get some gear.
And then you're going to get some stuff.
Yeah.
So that's actually quite interesting. So you can see all the 19 contestants with all of their special faces there. It's actually fun to see Extreme Addict without a beer in the end for the picture.
Yeah, so it's really a nice lineup. This year is going to be very interesting in terms of how things are going to turn out in the end, and we are really looking forward to it. So now, before we move on to the next thing, let's take a quick break, have a sip of water, and
come back with all the hardware the overclocker is going to be using.
All right.
Let the games begin.
Dead already. Let's move. We are. We're not leaving.
Right, welcome back, guys, to the Road to MOA show, and I'm still here in Taipei with Trouffman for the season finale of our
Our special show. That's the first time we are doing this this kind of season.
Actually, we would like to thank you guys for being on the show. I mean, like for those people, those of you that have been following each of the stream every about 2 weeks, actually, since 2 months now. Like you guys have been an amazing support. We are really happy about how things are turning out, and it's really awesome to see more and more people getting into the conversation about overclocking and how to push things further. Well, keep pushing it.
Yeah, well, it's basically keep pushing it. Yeah.
Exactly. So what we want to talk about now is the actual gear for the classic battle. So MSI each year for the classic battle appoints a set of hardware to each overclocker.
So all the contestants get some free hardware, if you can say it this way. They all get the same mainboard, the same VGA, and all of these. So for them, they compete on the same exact race. So it's the exact same track for them. And for this year, the main focus gotta be for the classic battle on the Z97M power mainboard for all the overclockers.
So Z97, that's the board that has been launched around Computex time, so in June of this year. So this is the current high-end board for what is to be known as the Z97 chipset. So those are the current basically all the kinds of boards we see right now, besides that are not the Intel Performance chipset, which is X99 that has been launched a few months ago.
So this D97 mainboard, you have the M power from MSI, you have also the X power, but the X power is not going to be used because there is no 4-way SLI or 4-way system VGA. So they're going to use the M power Z97. They're going to use some DDR3 also, and all the system like this. This mainboard is a LGA 1150 socket, so that means that's going to be the 4770K or 4790K CPU that's going to be going on it.
So in terms of CPU, the way it works at MOA is that there's about 2 CPUs for each contestant, and most of the time the way it is presented, there's a tray of CPUs with number on it, and people actually have to they draw a number, and then they get a chance to pick a CPU randomly out of the tray. Those CPUs usually have been pre-tested to be as equal as possible in terms of overclocked top frequency to be as fair as possible, right, for the competition.
It's to make sure there's not much difference between the guys. Yeah. Every time you get a new CPU or a new hardware, the overclockability factor is actually changing. So it's not because you get someone have a CPU, a 4770K, doing 5 GHz at 1.2 volts, that yours gonna do exactly the same. There's always a margin of error in that. So what MSI did is actually they took a lot of CPUs, they test all of them, and they showed them they're all in the, like, I think it's 200 megahertz range.
Yeah, so usually it's very fair. We haven't seen competitions where someone is really mind-blowing high and someone is completely out of touch with the hardware. So this is about CPU. That was the motherboard, which is the M power, and also we have the graphics card, which is the Lightning. So the 780 Ti Lightning graphics card from MSI, and the Lightning series is this overclocking graphics card series by MSI.
The Lightning series by MSI is a brand. Let's say it's not a brand. It's like a series of VGA dedicated for overclockers. So the Lightning cards are extra power, extra settings you can change, some special features in the BIOS, and so on. So these cards cost a little bit more than the regular one, of course.
They're designed to do that kind of stuff.
But they're designed to be used under extreme use. Okay, to be honest, they are not designed to just being used on hair. Most of them are designed to be used with LN2 cooling on.
As an overclocker, it would be for sure very sad to buy a card like this and not try to push things a little bit, you know?
Yeah, so they're going to be using the MSI GTX 780 Ti Lightning MOA edition. Why it's the MOA edition? The card card. It's a special card just for the competitions. Actually, the 780 Ti Lightning never went into retail. That was a special card made for just a few of the overclockers.
Yeah, if I remember right, there was a very, very limited amount of
I think there was like 20 pieces or 15 or 20 pieces, official pieces, that were given away to some of the overclockers.
So in terms of memory, like you say, DDR3 is going to be G-Skill providing this memory. Of course, this is going to be among the best memory modules you can find in terms of DDR3. For that kind of competition, we're only looking at the best of what you can get. power supplies by Master, the V1200 Platinum. So those are like 1.2 kilowatts power supplies. Those were the same power supplies we've seen at the Computex for actually all the events. Even the Intel event were using this power supply. Some of the guys. And there was also Kingston providing SSDs for the competitions, HyperX, right?
Yeah, anyway, all the overclockers use SSD for a long time now. It's much more easier to.
Well, not so long ago, I've still seen some people benching on hard drives.
If you bench some legacy benchmark, why not? But most of the guys now use SSD.
Yes. Among the other cool things we see in terms of hardware for these competitions, we have a bench table by Dimatec. So that's a new thing that has been added this year for MOA. Usually people just bench basically on the table, right?
Or on the box.
Or on the mainboard box. On the mainboard board, you just put your board on it, probably just an insulation underneath, and that's how people bench. So it's going to be interesting to see overclockers using an actual bench table designed for benching. And then in terms of the rest, EOS, this is all very classic Windows 7. We are not using Windows 8 for the reasons we have been highlighted in other shows and episodes.
Yeah, if you want to know why we don't use Windows 8, go back and watch the previous shows.
Check out the YouTube channel right now. There's a video that shows exactly why Windows 10 is exactly in the same kind of
situation. We cannot use Windows 8 and Windows 10.
Right. So Windows 7, Windows XP, this Windows XP is actually for the guys running SuperPi.
SuperPi, Aquamark, all these.
Legacy benchmark.
Legacy benchmark.
Right. And then we have keyboards and mice by SteelSeries. So this is all very cool.
So far, it's the competition is organized by MSI. So MSI is providing the main board and the VGA.
Yes.
Intel is providing the CPUs.
Yes.
You have memory from J-Skill. You have SSD from HyperX. So that's actually Kingston, HyperX. You have the PSU by Master, the keyboard and mouse by SteelSeries, the monitor by ViewSonic.
Yep.
And bench table by Dimastec. That's actually and a lot of partners for the same event.
Yeah, and I think all the guys go home with that gear, so it's a very nice package to bring back home. I think the guys should actually prepare some free space in the luggage.
I think some people are gonna have some charges because the luggage is too heavy when they come back.
All right, so that's about it for the hardware and for this year's MOA finals. Let's take a final break before we actually announce the winner of the previous giveaway. So giveaway number 5. Remember, we are giving away a mini ITX graphics card by MSI. So which is actually very cool if you're running like a home theater PC on which you sometimes want to play games and
it's powerful enough to play like most of the today's
that's
game.
it, right? Or just enhance your performance to play 4K movies or something like that.
So let's take the quick break. We come back with the announcement of the winner of the giveaway from last show, and they're announcing a new one that's gonna run only for a week until the next weekend. And that's it.
MSI, leading the game.
No one gets left behind!
MSI not only provides gamers the ultimate gaming gear, but also fulfills the passion to achieve their ultimate ambitions. In 2009, MSI initiated the Top Player, Top Choice sponsorship program and has now sponsored more than 10 highly recognized professional esports teams worldwide. MSI Beat It is a world-famous gaming tournament for gamers to polish their gaming skills and let them stand out on the global stage. With the spirit of Dragon Army, MSI ensures that gamers not only have the best, but the future of gaming in the palm of their hands. Gaming Motherboard. Gaming Notebook. Gaming Graphics Card. Gaming All-in-One PC. Gaming Barebone. MSI is committed to producing the most innovative hardcore performance hardware, enabling the ultimate computing experience for gamers. Top player, top choice.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for all the new guys that joined us today for this live. We are watching the last episode of the Road to MOA. That's the 6th episode. That's the final episode we're gonna do for this roadshow. Next weekend, on the 18th and 19th of October, is the MSI MOA Worldwide Final here in Taipei, Taiwan.
So 18:19 Taipei time, so that's 17:18 US time in the evening.
So that's basically next Friday evening. If you're living in the US, you can spend the evening watching the competitions.
Yep, that's right, and it's gonna be actually awesome. Like we said, we have an awesome lineup of hosts and co-hosts for this show. We have a cool new features for live overclocking that you guys have never seen before. I mean, trust me, this is something that is gonna blow your mind.
That's gonna be very, very interesting. So we're gonna have Dennis Garcia from Outer Asylum from the US as a co-host with me, as well as Tom Ross from PC Games Hardware in Germany. So they're all gonna be there to comment and explain what's going on. So if you have questions about overclocking, you have questions about the hardware, you have questions about how to set up your system and so on, we will be there all day on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday evening and Saturday evening for the US guys, to answer all of your questions. And honestly, I'm very excited for next week, because what we're gonna announce there, the way it's gonna look and the way it's gonna be, never seen before.
All right, cool. So let's move on to the winner announcement of the giveaway number 5. So like I said, we were giving away a mini ITX graphics card by MSI. So Trouffman, switch to the slide, and the winner is Carlo Massone. So Carlo, I hope I'm not trashing your family name. I think it's Massone. Mason. Yeah. So congratulations, you won a MSI R9 270X mini ITX gaming graphics card. So that's gonna be quite epic.
Well, that's congratulations. We're gonna send that. We're gonna contact you and send that to you.
Yeah, make sure to check your emails, because the previous winner, I had to send like many emails before people check the inbox. So I know it's a giveaway. People put like some kind of spam box email. We are not spamming people, so please, if you actually joined the giveaway, just check your inbox.
That was for the last giveaway?
Yeah.
What is the next one?
Well, next one starts right now, Truth. There's actually no discussion about this. This week we are giving away MSI gaming graphics card.
No, mainboard directly.
Oh, mainboard. Sorry.
We're giving away
Z97 Gaming 7 motherboard by MSI. So we actually gave away one of those already. I remember it was probably in the first
one.
So it's a very good closing gift for this last show. So this motherboard, you guys can win it, and to win this motherboard, as usual, go on our Facebook page, so facebook.com/overclocking-TV in one piece, and scroll down on the left sidebar. As you can see, there will be a number 6 tab for the giveaway. Go in there, fill in your name, answer the question. The question is very simple: how many people compete in this year's MOA final in Taiwan? I think we mentioned that a lot, so we are not going to say it again.
So you have to input the number of total contestants in this MOA.
You can put the number or in written the whole actual number with characters. I'm fine with both. As long as you get it right, you win this card, right? Well, we pick one of
the right answer, and you're gonna maybe win the D97 Gaming 7 mainboard from MSI.
Right. So that's about it for the giveaways. Make sure also to check out the giveaway we mentioned about the MSI winner prediction thing. So this is going on the Facebook page of MSI. So
you can have the link on the side right there.
Yeah. So I let you go there and check it out. And we will see you for the next show in a few days. So like you mentioned, at the MSI finals. So make sure to tune in. For the guys in the US, it will be on Friday around 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. This is about 6:30. I'm not so good with it's
6:30 p.m. if you live on the West Coast.
Pacific time,
yeah,
right?
Pacific time.
And for us in Taipei, it would be 9:30 a.m. For the guys in Europe, it might be a little bit late, so it's 3 a.m. So,
but even if
I guess we will see you when you wake up, or just don't sleep. It's the easiest way, right? Just stay there, and we'll be there. We'll actually probably connect there an hour before, so we can already chat with you guys, and we will be staying there a long time after as well, the time we pack and everything. So we'll have a lot of fun. This is going to be 2 days of amazing live stream for the MOA finals.
If you want to get the information when we go live, don't forget to subscribe on Twitch. You can go below this player on Twitch. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at OverClocking-TV. We're gonna get all the information and gonna provide all the coverage on this medium.
That's right. So thanks, Guy, for watching this show. Thank you, Trouffman, for joining me here in Taipei. It's a pleasure to have you over.
Thank you.
And we will see you in about a week in Taipei for the worldwide finals of the MSI MOA. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.